I always try to keep it very natural for auditions, face-to-face meetings, and you know, sometimes it depends on the character. If it says in the script specifically wears red lipstick, then you put it on for the audition. I think my favorite makeup look, if I had to choose one, would be just maybe not crazy dramatic, but kind of glam makeup, if that makes any sense. Natural makeup's fun, it's easy, I can do it quick. I've learned how to kind of perfect that, I guess, in my own opinion. But I kind of prefer, like, I don't know, I love like putting like a random pop of color on my eyelids and like smoking it out, and then wearing like a cool lip color and like glitter on my face and lashes. Like, it's just fun. Like, I love it so much, and there's so many different ways that you can go with it. It feels great. Like, I feel super awesome when I'm wearing like awesome, like cool makeup, so that's probably my favorite. Hey, it's Kelly again. Listen, I'm sure we've all been through so many different makeup looks, trying to perfect our techniques, figure out what looks good on our skin and our face. Trust me, I have many times. But this next look I'm gonna show you is something that I found over time is my favorite look. I love it because it really, really gives you an all-day glow. It's very fresh, very easy, and I think we should just get right into it. So here we go.
We're beginning this look with priming our face. Massage it into the skin very nicely just to prep it, hydrate it for everything we're going to put on top of it. So now we're taking an eye primer. I mean, you can use a face primer for your eyes, but I just really like this eye primer, so I'm just rubbing that onto the eyelids. Soaks up all the moisture. You don't want your eyelids to be super oily when you're applying eyeshadow on top of it. So this is one of my favorite palettes. All of the colors are matte. But like we did in the last video, we're going to put a cream-colored eyeshadow on the lids. We primed it with the primer, and now this is like an extra step for primer, because when you put the eyeshadows on top of it, they'll blend very nicely. So just quickly swipe that along both of your eyes, all over the lid, all the way up to the brow bone, down by the lash line. So taking a really big fluffy brush, going in with this pretty pinky, shimmery rose color that I really like a lot. It's just to mix it up as opposed to a simple brown in the eyelids. Gives it a little bit more dimension. I'm just putting this on really lightly. I don't want it to be super in your face because this is a pretty natural look, but it's a little bit more amped up than the last look. And it's so crucial to blend. That's the only way these are all gonna look nice and cohesive together. You can put it on the outer V of your eyelid, right above the crease. This is sort of a transition color. Okay, so now we're taking a little bit more of a tapered blending brush. This one's not as big and fluffy as the last one, but I mixed these two brown colors in the palette. One is a little more matte and the other's a little bit more shimmery, so I can't really decide between the two, so I just decided to mix it. And I'm putting this strictly in the outer V of my eyelid. Complements the transition color really nicely, and we don't want it all over the lid, otherwise it will look muddy. So again, applying that on the outer V, you can even bring it up into the crease a little bit if you want, but I wouldn't go all the way across the eyelid with this color. You want it to be a nice transition between this brown color and that lighter pink color that we use. This is sort of my own little thing I came up with, but I take my foundation and put it on the center of my lid because we're about to put a color on there that I really want to stay. So applying like an eyeshadow base or concealer or foundation or anything that's sort of a lighter color on the center of the lid will make that color stay on even better once you put it on top of it. So I'm going in with that light pink shimmery color, again, just to open up the eyelid. And when you put it on with your finger, that is the most intense color you'll have. With a brush, it's not as dense, so I take that from the inner corner just a little more than halfway across the lid. Now just to get into those corners, because sometimes when you have acrylics on, it's very hard to get into those inner corners without getting it everywhere. I'm taking just a really little brush with that color and putting it in that corner. As an extra transition color, I love peachy tones, and it also complements this look very well. So I just add that extra little peachy color on the lid. What I love to do in terms of eyeliner is an eyeshadow eyeliner. A lot of people prefer gel or liquid liner, But just for a more natural look that's really easy to do for every day, I take an angled little brush, dip it into a dark brown color, and just pat that along the lash line. You can flick it out if you want, make a little bit of a wing. I like to give a nice little natural wing. Or you can have it stop at the very end of your eyelid, whichever you prefer. And for that last little touch, always put a cream-colored or white-colored eyeshadow underneath your brow bone. Accentuates the brows. We don't like fallout. And this is the beauty of doing your eyes first, is because you can go crazy with colors, let all of that eyeshadow fall out onto your face, but you don't have to worry about ruining your foundation by taking a makeup wipe and simply brushing it away. Sometimes if I mess up my eyeliner, I take the makeup wipe and I flick it out perfectly just to make that eyeliner even sharper. We're going in with foundation. For this look, I'm gonna be applying it with a brush. Since we have a little bit more time than our 5-minute makeup look, I actually prefer to put my foundation on this way. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it really packs in the product and gives for a flawless face. So I just start by putting it under my eyes and just spreading it all around the face. And don't put on too much, we don't want a caked look, but pick a color that's really nice for your skin and just sort of blend it out. And it's gonna look like you just have flawless, beautiful skin. Foundation needs to be blended evenly, and a little trick that I use is like giving myself a double chin. Super attractive, but that's like a way to make the side of your face, like the chin and the bottom of the cheek, all sort of become one. Just make sure it's blended down onto your neck. You don't want your neck to be a completely different color than your face. So for this look, I'm going to use my foundation stick as a concealer. I just applied this under my eyes, brightened it up a little bit, down the nose, Cupid's bow, and the chin. And now I'm going to take a wet beauty blender, sponge, you can use any sponge, but don't use a dry sponge, so crucial. The only way this will blend out is if you have a wet sponge. So I just sprayed my rose water on there, just to wet it down a little bit. And simply blend that out onto the skin. Bounce it. So notice how the center of my face is starting to look brighter and underneath my eyes looks brighter and more awake? This is because we used a concealer that was a few shades lighter than our foundation. You have to brighten up those areas, that's the trick. So now we're gonna start setting all of the cream products that we just put on our face, starting with a translucent powder. I prefer to use a loose one. You can use a pressed powder, and you're just gonna pack that underneath your eyes and on all the areas that you just concealed. As we're letting that powder sit, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. My brows don't have a lot of natural shape to them, so I just like to give them a little bit more of a defined look. And I'm taking an eyebrow pencil, and I do it in quick little upward motions to make it look like actual hair. You don't wanna like straight up color in your eyebrow. I like for my eyebrows to start light and then get a little bit darker. It's like an ombre brow, an ombrow. A trick that I learned, I actually take a tinted brow gel and run it through my eyebrows. Running this through the eyebrow actually makes them brunette. So now that the eyebrows are done, we're brushing away this little powder we set under our eyes with a big fluffy brush. And now I'm taking an actual colored powder and applying that on the rest of my face. Obviously, the color that we put under our eyes in the center of our face isn't really a color, that's why it's called a translucent powder. But because this one has a color, it's obviously darker, and you can see I'm applying that pretty much on the outside of my face and just lightly brushing it in the center. You wanna contour those areas on the outside of your face to make it look more slim. I love this little contour palette. It has a bunch of different shades in it, and I like to take the medium and the light shade, blend them together, and use that as my contour. Putting that right in the hollows of where my cheeks are. And I don't like to make a super harsh line, so I kind of do this like C shape up onto my temples. You can see what it's starting to do is just take in those cheeks, give your face a little bit more dimension. And this is something that you definitely don't want a harsh line with, so make sure you blend it out. I also like to put it on my temples. Shadows are everything. Time for blush. Today I'm using a really pretty pinky, peachy, shimmery color. We're putting that on the apples of our cheeks and just brushing that up to where we sort of put our contour. You wanna blend those together. The matte contour we just did complements this shimmery color that we just put on. With this tiny little pencil brush, we're gonna take a rosy, shimmery, almost browny color and apply that underneath the eyes and try to connect that to the eyeshadow that you did on top to keep it continuous. It's not too much, but it just shapes the eye. Using this teensy tiny little brush, we're going to highlight our inner corner of our eye. So I'm taking the lightest color in this highlighter palette and putting that right along the inner corner and sort of connect it to that lighter color you did on the lid. Again, to just make it look continuous, everything is one, everything is blended. Now I'm taking the other side of the brush, which is a flatter, bigger brush, and putting that right beneath the brow bone, again, to highlight. Very, very good place for highlighting. Tip of the nose, right down the center of the nose, Cupid's bow. Gives a nice little natural glow. Mascara time. Mascara is pretty straightforward. You just take the brush, put it on the eyelashes, and you're pretty much good to go. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the bottom lashes. Be very careful, it is very easy to mess up the bottom of your lashes with mascara, especially if you have a really clumpy mascara. So brush over it just really lightly. Now this fancy fan brush is used for something I like to call highlighter. I'm taking this color, it's called Bubbly. It's a light color, but it has a gold undertone. I'm just fanning that onto the cheekbones very lightly. And I'm gonna go over those areas again that we highlighted before, like the tip of the nose and the Cupid's bow. And this is placed right above your blush and right along the natural line of how your eyes are. One of the last steps is the lips. And for this look, I'm actually using a lip liner as my lipstick. Little trick, it's actually way more durable to put liner all over your lips than some lipsticks. This will stay on like all day. So I'm just gonna line the lips. I tend to overdraw just a tiny, tiny bit, and I'm gonna lightly fill in with the side of the pencil. The harder you press, the darker the color, so I keep it pretty light on the actual lips and then just press a little bit harder on the lip line. A really nice neutral pinkish brown color is super great for every day. This kind of lip can go with so many different eyes and blush colors and however dramatic you want to make your look. A nice color like this is always a go-to. And the beauty of this is that you don't have to carry around a lip gloss, a lipstick, and a lip liner. You just got one thing. And last step is setting spray. I'm using a matte setting spray so I don't get oily. And there we go, there's the look. Easy, right? That is the look that I do literally almost every single day. So now that we've gone over some of the basics, talked about some cute daytime looks, in the next episode we're gonna be discussing beginner mistakes and techniques that you should probably or most definitely avoid. And make sure you tune into that because I'm gonna be recreating my makeup look from high school. You do not wanna miss that. Bye guys.
I don't know what it was. She was just in a really, really bad mood. Like she was just putting everyone through it. Just all these like weird demands, total diva
Like
behavior.
constant?
Well, yeah, it felt really contrived. It felt like she was mad
Why
about
was she
something
like
else.
that?
I don't know. Well, first of all, I have to like paint the house down to make her look like that. Like, let's be
Oh,
honest. So
really?
that's part of the issue, I'm sure.
Yikes.
I mean, and mind you, she has like 3 hairs on her head, so
Wait, like literally?
yeah.
What?
What did you
Her
think? She had
hair's-
like really great hair or something?
I thought her hair was real. It's
no,
fake?
smoke and mirrors. Yeah, no, totally obnoxious.
time.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's probably why she's pissed off in the first place.
Wait. You're still talking about the same person, right?
Yeah. I hate